In horror films, there is a recurring theme of a person being mirrored on a separate mirror, which is the exact mirror image of an evil entity that wants to destroy its master on the other side of the mirror. The most surprising thing is that our universe has a similar evil twin. What is the mysterious mirror image of our planet, and what would happen if it went there? Charge, parity, and time reversal symmetry (CPT symmetry). The reason that makes us predict that the universe has a mirror image is the theory of CPT symmetry, i.e. charge, parity, and time reversal symmetry. The letter C means charge coupling, meaning that every elementary atom has a twin with the opposite charge. Antineutrons, anti-electrons, electrons or electrons, and so on. Every atom discovered by scientists has a twin. The letter B indicates the symmetry of space, meaning that all three directions in our three-dimensional world have opposite directions. The letter T means, respectively, that for the continuous flow of time there is a symmetrical flow in the opposite direction. Destruction. There was a similar symmetry in the moment our universe was born. In the first nano and picosecond of the Big Bang, matter and antimatter were divided equally, and shortly after that, for every billion atoms and antiatoms, there was one additional atom. In that part of the universe that we observe, no significant accumulations of antimatter were discovered. Scientists have wondered, why did this supersymmetry break, and where did this huge amount of antimatter disappear without leaving a trace in the universe? In fact, if this huge system of antimatter had remained, our world would have disappeared immediately after the Big Bang. When an antimatter atom meets another atom, what is called annihilation or destruction occurs and it disappears. Atoms simply in the blink of an eye released a huge amount of energy. Therefore, first, physicists initially assumed that there was a lot of matter, as matter and antimatter were mutually destroyed, and the remaining matter formed the universe that we have now, but such a hypothesis has many mathematical contradictions. So scientists are looking for another explanation for the antimatter universe. Canadian scientists at the Perimeter Institute for Theoretical Physics, led by Neil Track, proposed their own theory and came to the conclusion that immediately after the Big Bang, the universe that we know and live in arose in one direction. And in the opposite direction, the antimatter universe was born, and it consists entirely of matter. Antimatter and time in the antimatter universe move from the future to the past, where there is now your antimatter version sitting upside down in front of an upside-down computer, and you already know how this video will end when you look back in time, and this raises many questions: what life is like when everything consists of antimatter. Can we contact the world of antimatter? Scientists tried to answer this question by creating antiparticles in the laboratory. As early as 1932, the first positrons, or anti-electrons, were discovered in cosmic rays. In 1955, scientists from Berkeley were able to obtain on antiprotons. Later, thanks to advanced techniques, physicists were not only able to obtain antiparticles, but also complete antiatoms, namely antihelium and antihydrogen. In any case, in the beginning, it was very difficult to study them. The antiatoms collided with the hydrogen atoms, and after only 172 milliseconds, some of them were destroyed. Some have suspected the existence of antiparticles. Scientists have used special electromagnetic traps called the Luffy quadrupole configuration, which prevent particles and antiparticles for a short period from contacting and annihilating each other. Therefore, in 2011, antihydrogen continued to exist for up to 1,000 seconds, and in 2014, 80 antihydrogen atoms were created for the purpose of a detailed study. By 2022, scientists plan to build a portable trap for antiparticles and then transport the antimatter in a truck across hundreds of meters to another location to conduct further experiments. But most studies are still unable to give clear answers about what exactly antimatter is. What is antimatter? One thing is clear: if by some miracle you manage to enter the anti-universe, you will inevitably perish, because every cell in your body consists of ordinary matter, and in the anti-universe, it will explode with the release of a huge amount of energy and then disappear without a trace. On the other hand, this event will save the inhabitants of the anti-universe. The most vivid scene in their lives, or on the contrary, your presence may destroy all forms of life, our twin planet in the antimatter universe. The energy of antimatter. The truth is that the interaction of 1 gram, or about 3% of an ounce, of antimatter and ordinary matter is equal in strength to an explosion with a force of 21.5 kilotons, which is a little more. About the power of the Fatman bomb that was dropped on Nagasaki, what happens inside your body? The average person has a mass of 165 pounds or 75 kilograms, which is equivalent to the explosive energy of about 7,686 Fatman bombs. Therefore, in any case, the presence of a guest from the opposite universe will cause serious consequences, but guess what will happen? Almost the same thing will happen inside your body, but on a much smaller scale. Every hour, with food and air, you will often get the radioactive isotope of potassium-40 into your body. It will interact with molecules and begin to decay, releasing a positron Ik8 for the anti-electron, and thus you will release 180 antiparticles per hour, which is about 4,000 antimatter per day will actually be instantly destroyed by ordinary matter and converted into gamma radiation. Such an amount of antimatter is really very small, but this is all that will remain of you after entering the antiverse, and if you can safely extract some matter from the antiverse, it will make you rich. Really fabulous money. According to NASA estimates in 2006, the value of 1 milligram, or 15,000 grams, of positrons may be about $25 million, and the value of a gram of antihydrogen, or 3% of an ounce in 1999, was $5.62 trillion. Perhaps it is better to forget such amounts. The large amount of money, because instead of money, you will suffer a painful and time-intensive death. The second point, which is the reason that makes entering the anti-universe so difficult, is time. The anti-universe exists in the time that preceded the Big Bang, meaning that it has existed for more than 14 billion years, and even if we learn how to safely approach antiparticles, we will live a way to travel far into the past. In theory, time travel is possible, but only within our universe, at least for the time being. There is no matter. It is quite possible that you and I and all the people around us live in the antiverse, as some physicists believe that regardless of which side of the Big Bang our universe is on, we will still view the environment as ordinary matter, and the passage of time will continue, even if we are on the self-destructing other side. It is worth noting that even in the absence of contact with the anti-universe, we are constantly influencing each other in every way. Whenever scientists create or destroy a new particle, the antiparticle is born or dies accordingly, and as much as we would like to contact the antiverse, if it were at all possible, it would end up mutually self-destructing. The reverse, it's just a possibility. It's only a possibility that there is a mirror version of our universe, and each one of us flips. Our view of the world is upside down. However, a new theory has recently emerged that could completely refute the existence of the anti-universe. The main evidence for its existence is based on the absence of any significant amount of antimatter in our universe, but researchers from the Brookhaven National Laboratory in the United States and the University of Kansas found another explanation. Therefore, the Higgs boson particle, according to the assumption that the Higgs troika is responsible, is composed of three types of particles called bosons, one of which is also known as the divine particle. It differs from the rest of the particles in that it produces an incredibly large amount of energy and, as a result, it decays within a short period of time. A stream of ordinary matter particles that destroyed almost all the antimatter in the universe, but of the three alleged bosons, only one has been discovered so far, so the theory of the anti-universe is still correct. Finally, I look forward to your comments, regardless of the world you belong to. If you liked the video, give it a like or no. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you have not done so already, click on the bell button to be notified about many new and interesting videos that await you in the future.